Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Perry County ranks #1, but it is a statistic no one wants. Yesterday, local law enforcement and transportation officials met to discuss ways to limit fatal crashes where the victim does not wear a seatbelt. WYMT's Connor James joins us now with more. Connor?
Yeah, Steve, in 2016 and 2017, the numbers were staggering. 100% of all fatal crashes here in Perry County involve someone not wearing their seatbelt. This year, it's roughly 75%. Now, even though that number is lower than years past, it is still the #1 in the state. Kentucky State Police and other law enforcement work these crashes often and say they're working on solutions to fix this problem.
And it's a matter of really reducing those numbers to very minimal if drivers would just take that one little step.
Now, Steve, those numbers really speak for themselves. And the thing is, it's preventable. All you have to do is just click your buckle in, and I mean, that fixes the problem right there. We'll have much more, obviously, on this story coming up at 11.
All right, Connor, thank you. Well, this week is National Teen Driver Safety Week. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says wrecks are the leading cause of death for teens ages 15 to 18.
For some teenagers, getting behind the wheel can be a scary task.
When I first started driving, I was tense. I was very tense, and it would make me flinch and end up messing up a lot.
But a driver's ed course at Johnson Central is trying to address that issue.
Some kids, it was their first time behind the wheel of anything, but now as the year goes on, they're getting more comfortable. I'm getting more comfortable, and we're just learning and growing daily.
Jesse Peck is the driver's ed teacher, helping students learn driving techniques and how to stay safe on the roadways.
There's no better way to learn than when the situation arises.
16-year-old Zachary Puckett says he had only driven a few times before taking this course. But he took us on a ride to show us what he has learned.
First, I adjust my mirrors, make sure I'm able to see all the way around me.
Then backing up and off we go.
Parallel parking, that was a big one. I didn't know how to parallel park at all. Yielding into lanes, getting onto 23, and then just like learning right-of-ways and stuff like that, that helps a lot.
With instruction along the way.
Be careful around here.
Yeah.
Soon pulling back into the school and parking. 18-year-old Jamie Hall takes the course and shares advice for other students.
I would say take it in a heartbeat will be the best thing you ever do.
All with the focus on one thing.
Safety first.
In Johnson County, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
During the past 3 years in Kentucky, there were more than 42,000 crashes involving teen drivers. School officials say this is a course they will continue in the future. In Breathitt County, a grand jury indicted the judge executive for the second time in recent months. This is a booking photo of Jeff Noble from August. He faces official misconduct, abuse of public trust, and theft charges. He is accused of using county money to put diesel fuel in his personal truck. In a separate case, Noble faces charges for allegedly buying lumber with county money for personal use. Today, we learned Eric C. Kahn wants out of prison. He filed a handwritten motion earlier this month. Here's a look at that court document. In it, Kahn claims the attorneys who represented him were ineffective. He also claims the escape charge was not relevant to him because he was released pending trial, subject to various terms and conditions. You might remember he went to Honduras for about 6 months. Kahn pleaded guilty to escape and to defrauding the Social Security Administration. A judge sentenced him last September to 27 years in prison. Prosecutors filed a countering motion asking if Kahn was waiving his client attorney privilege. Kahn has until November 5th to respond.
Well, we've been talking about it all afternoon, and what a beautiful afternoon it was. Hopefully you were able to enjoy it. Temperatures reached the lower 60s, so it was a little bit on the chilly side, but overall it was a nice fall day here on this October 23rd. About 4 degrees below average, but still feeling pretty nice out there. Temperatures are now starting to cool off. Time is about 6:03. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 50s to some lower 60s still hanging around, but those temperatures going to be falling into the 50s breeze as we head through the rest of the evening. And the WYMT studio is still showing those crystal clear blue skies. We did not see much cloud cover today, and those fall colors are really starting to pop. Check it out here on satellite and radar. We're looking at clear skies. We've been seeing clear skies all day, and those clear skies, they're going to continue into tonight as well. Check it out, your weather headlines. We do have a frost advisory, warmer tomorrow, and we do have rain chances on the way. I will have those details. I'll break down all of what you need to know heading into the weekend here in just a little bit, Steve.
All right, Kelly, thank you. In less than 2 weeks, President Trump will make a campaign stop here in the Bluegrass. It's part of his campaign for re-election, but it falls on the eve of Election Day here in Kentucky. With the high-profile visit, city leaders in Lexington are already getting ready. Hillary Thornton explains their focus before the rally.
In less than 2 weeks, President Donald Trump will be in downtown Lexington.
It's going to be probably a mess downtown.
Businesses are already prepping for the extra crowd and extra security. In some other cities with recent presidential visits, nearby businesses have just closed up for the day.
No, never. We couldn't. It's beginning of Pizza Week.
Monday, November 4th, the start of Pizza Week in Lexington. It's also the eve of a hotly watched governor's election. This rally is a Keep America Great rally as part of the president's 2020 re-election efforts. It certainly is seen as a major effort to support Governor Matt Bevin.
I think what it'll do is just get people paying attention to the fact that there's an election the next day, so I'm grateful that he's coming.
Well, you know, I don't know that anybody's coattails are long enough to save Matt Bevin from himself.
Lexington Mayor Linda Gordon and other city leaders fielding many questions about the visit, talking through some of that at a council work session.
Our standard is about protection of free speech and safety for everyone.
The mayor explaining extra costs do come with visits by national figures with Secret Service protection and that there is no law allowing a city to charge for those costs or that requires the campaigns to reimburse the city. It is expected that more than 10,000 people will be inside Rupp Arena for the rally. And that 10,000 number is what triggers a standard agreement in place between the city and the Lexington Center when it comes to providing extra security.
The police department will provide traffic control for that event if it's over 10,000 people. Not necessarily security in its true sense. In other words, officers inside the event.
Now in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Some businesses in the area in Lexington that won't benefit from the extra people downtown are working on plans to either have their employees work from home that day or to only be open for half a day due to expected traffic issues. Well, Governor Bevin is expected to go on a multi-city tour days before President Trump's arrival. On Friday, November 1st, he's expected to have 4 stops in southern and eastern Kentucky. That includes Pulaski County, Corbin, London, and Hazard. Congressman Hal Rogers will join the governor for the first 3 stops. Governor Bevin's campaign says a special VIP guest will also be announced soon. The city of Harlan has a wet dry vote this November. It's not being talked about much. It's certainly been quieter than the ones of years past. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds asked officials about why they believe that is.
Alcohol sales, a controversial issue throughout the years in the city of Harlan.
That is always going to be, a decision between people. Our thing is that we believe that it's not going to help our community.
However, businesses say they can see the potential in it. One of those is the tax from the sales going to police in Harlan.
Even if it is going to just law enforcement, that's extra law enforcement, better vehicles, uniforms, it's a win.
Harlan County Clerk Donna Hoskin says the vote is the quietest she has ever seen. One reason she believes is the fact that Harlan is already moist. The other is a question asked by many tourists every day.
Because the four-wheelers and all, when they come here, that's what they ask is where, to go purchase their alcoholic beverages.
That desire to draw tourism, Hoskin says, is the most likely cause for the vote. Either way the votes are cast in November, tourism will continue using their resources to keep Harlan growing and revitalizing.
We're here to stay, we're here to make an impact, and we're here for a brighter future. Whether that involves alcohol or not, we're happy to find out in the election.
The election is November 5th. In Harlan County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials say as of now they do not expect a big turnout for the election in Harlan. Several other cities holding wet-dry votes across the region as well. A man accused of selling donuts for a school but keeping the money. Deputies in Harlan County arrested Oscar Whitehead. They say he took money from several people in the county. He also had warrants for theft by deception, being a persistent felony offender, and a probation violation. Bell County deputies say they are looking into a similar scam, but at this point, Whitehead is only charged in Harlan County. A man convicted of raping and murdering a 7-year-old girl has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Timothy Madden pleaded guilty to killing Gabby Doolin back in 2015 in western Kentucky. She was found dead 30 minutes after being reported missing at an Allen County youth football game. During today's sentencing, the judge had the families of Doolin and Madden separated after an outburst in court. The city of Inez in Martin County could be dissolved after the November election. This comes after some believe they are not receiving anything for their tax dollars. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with the mayor about it.
It is a big decision, one that could change a course of an eastern Kentucky city.
It was just a group of disgruntled citizens that were former commissioners of the city.
One question on an upcoming ballot may dissolve the city of Inez in Martin County.
And I think that they feel if they cannot run the ship, they would rather see it sink.
City Mayor Ed Daniels says he is worried about what will happen to the city if it is passed.
I have talked to some of them, and they tell me if it is dissolved, that they will not be able to pick up the things that the city does.
He says this includes snow removal, street lights, and garbage collection.
That is all that we can afford right now with our revenue base.
Daniels says those who live here do not realize what it takes to run a city.
These people are telling them that they're not receiving any services for their tax dollars.
And until the election, he and his office plans to complete the same tasks they always have.
City is clean, weeds are cut, the garbage is collected. There's just other things.
As he hopes to keep the city afloat. In Martin County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Main weather headlines for tonight. We do have a frost advisory in effect. We will be a little bit warmer tomorrow, and we do have a chance at weekend rain. I'll have those details and more here in just a few minutes.
But first, we will take you to the Fire Summit today in Pikeville.